Greetings. This is Arvette McLean of Speak, the Universe Listens.
We cherish that. We love that particular piece of it because it
Teach people like, hey, it's okay. Change.
New ways to view age-old challenges. Change your thoughts, change your life. Step into the bigness of you. Greetings, and welcome to today's episode of Speak, the Universe Listens. And today's topic is We Are the Light. And I have Stephen joining me, and you're just as bright today, like the light. And Rodney, how are you?
Hey. Good.
Good. So we are the light. So one of the things that Scott had once said to me, he was like, if we compare ourselves to like a lamp, right? So if you think about a lamp, you turn the light on, the light is shining bright, but then it has a shade on top of the lamp. And then imagine if you start putting veils on top of the lampshade, and you put more and more veils. And the more veils you put on the lampshade, the dimmer the light will seem. But truthfully, the light is still just as bright. And he's saying that's how all of us are. We are all already light. We're all shining bright. But, you know, just because of the stories we've been telling ourselves over the years, we have like all these veils, and we forget that we are the light, and we forget that everyone else around us is the light too. But truthfully, we all are brilliant lights, just shining bright, just waiting for those veils to come off.
So a lot of times, we pick and choose, like if we know, we pick and choose when to tap into that higher power and be the light. And like for instance, I can have something going on to where like say with my business, like all right, last week I might have had a setback. Yeah. I'm like, all right, this week I need to make that up. I need to tap into this and get some things rolling. And then this week I'm getting calls and all kind of stuff just randomly happen that's great. And I'm like, it got me to thinking, why do I just do that when I need it? Instead of being that way all the time, then, my business might really go crazy. But we do that all the time.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I always notice that anyway, like, you can be like here, and then something happen, and you'll be like, whoop, and then you're gonna get yourself back up. Like, it's kind of like, the whole saying, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. So you know how to come out of that dip. And so I'm like, okay, if I can come out of that, why can't I from here go up here versus staying? So that's kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. I basically kind of just noticed that I do that, but I'm not sure, why I do that. And sometimes, like, you can be the light and you not even know it. Like, when I was working at my job, like if I miss a day in the office, they'd be like, it was so much different when you weren't here and stuff. Like, wasn't nobody talking, wasn't nobody laughing, wasn't nobody doing, and then when I'm there, everybody laughing, we all, having a great day at the office. Yeah. But I never knew that, it was like that when I'm not there, but they felt like I was the light of the office.
I say, for me, it's just every day, just pretty much just walking in love. And I notice when I walk in love and just do a lot of things out of love, it just sort of like brings out my higher self, pretty much, and I try to just remind myself every day, because sometimes I have days as to where they're not always just the best of the best, you know. But even when I have those type of days, I still manage to take something out of that day and find something that I'm grateful for in order to keep me at that high, instead of being like what you said before, we fall down, but we know how to get back up type vibe. So for me, just basically walking in love, and I notice that every time that I do that, my energy is just, I feel good, you know, and then I want to continue to keep pushing it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, cause like when something good happens and it gets you on a little high,
Yeah.
it's like, and your light is shining. It's like good things keep happening because your light is vibrating so high. It's like things just keep happening, you know. And so it's like if you can just ride that and try to do that all the time, you know, it would be great.
Yeah, like I always think of it just like remembering who you are. Like we forget who we are. We think or we pretend that we're these little insignificant bodies, you know. And I remember I used to always be like, you know, I'm like a grain of sand. Do you know how much sand is on a beach? I'm like a grain of sand, just insignificant or whatever. But to realize, and you gave the perfect example, like when you're not here, things are different. And you never know how things are when you're not here.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And like what you were saying, Stephen, it's like the more I realize that I am the light, that I am divine, the more I realize that, the more I see it in everybody else. And like the brighter I let my light shine, the more I can see everybody else's light as well. And it's easy, like, I know sometimes people will be like, yeah, okay, I believe I'm the light, but I don't know about him. Or whatever. And it's like, if we can realize that we all are connected to the same source, like we're all a part of it, we all are the light. And then how differently would we view this person who we've written off as whatever, not worthy or not a nice person or whatever, and just realizing that they just have veils covering. And if they too were to take off their veils, they would shine brightly.
It's interesting you said that. I was having a conversation with somebody, and we was talking about, like, you know how people say, I'm real, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is being a real person to you?
Yeah.
And they started naming all these qualities and stuff, and I'm like, nah, when I think of real, I think like when I think of me being real, I think of like me being my authentic self
I was just about
and
to say.
being my light. Like, I don't think of it as like, oh, I'm honest, or I'm like just
Yeah.
characteristics, you know. I think of it like on a deeper level. And so people just tap into what's really real to me, like,
Yeah.
you know, what I like, that part of being real, and like you said, taking the veils off and really showing your real self, your real light shining, you know. Yeah.
I think the biggest thing, like people, they have the veil on, is coming from, you know, from society. It's coming from, you know, fear it just in itself, what people may think about you. Because I noticed for myself, leveling up, that when I was trying to just be my authentic self, I was still sort of hanging on to that old version of myself, because I'm trying to level up, and it's like I got my foot in the door, but then I take that foot and I sort of slide on back because I don't want to quite let go yet, you know. So then I had to realize that I can only step foot in one door and keep it there, you know. So which one is it going to be? You know, which one is it going to be? So just knowing that, being my authentic self, when I realized that, for me, it just felt good knowing that this is who I want to be. That I feel there's nothing outside of me that can just alter me, you know what I'm saying? And I feel awesome about that. The challenge, I think, for most people is that right there, that they know what they want, they know they want to be their higher self, but they still got their foot on the other side. They ain't quite ready to remove that veil quite yet.
Let me ask you a question. Do you feel it's something you have to get rid of for your light to shine? Like for instance, like, you know, in a sense, taking those veils off. You know, how do you get those off for your light to shine bright?
I would say anything that's just not serving the higher version of you. You know, because in my opinion, I think that if you're gonna shine bright, then you can't shine bright if you got a veil over top of it. You see what I'm saying? Like if you're hanging on to something that's not serving your purpose.
Like kind of like letting go of your old story.
Yeah, letting go of that old narrative.
Yeah. But I do want to say, and I agree with that, right? But I do want to say that I think it's an acceptance too of all parts of you. And like sometimes we're trying to get rid of something, and really you don't have to get rid of something. You just step more into this. And I think we had said this a couple of weeks ago in terms of experiencing a different part of yourself. So I've been experiencing this part. I've been shy. I've been scared of everything. I've been, afraid to act, afraid to do. I've been in a place of struggle, hardship. I've done those things. And it's not necessarily get rid of that. Like all of that is a part of my history, so to speak. And like I think of God, for example, as everything. So it's not like God is good. It's everything. Mm-hmm. And I think we are everything too. And so it's not to get rid of it, but to experience a different part, a part that brings you joy and love and laughter and fun and, abundance, like experience that part of you. And to not, it's kind of like, how they say what you resist persists type of thing. So it's not a stomping out of, but it's not necessarily adding, because I believe it's already there, but it's a expanding of something else.
Yeah, I asked y'all that because a lot of people think, in order for my light to shine or my light to change, that in a sense I got to take out the trash first. And a lot of times people put too much focus on that instead of focusing on what they want their end result to be, what they want their life to look like. They're like, well, I got to take out the trash. I got to figure out why I act like this or why these problems. Right. When it's just like, step into the light and shine.
Yeah. And we often put that gap in between where we are and where we want to be. Right. And it doesn't have to be a gap. And like I always say, there's nothing wrong with understanding, well, I act like this because
that could take a long time.
My daddy, but yeah, that'll take a while. Just start being what you want to be. Right. Start stepping into that and living into that moment and knowing you already are that, and just start expanding it just more and more.
And the other stuff, I feel it'll remove itself in a sense.
It's almost like you kind of like become a different person, because like I remember when I carried my story with me everywhere.
That thing was heavy. Like Santa Claus.
It really was heavy, and I carried it everywhere. But now it's almost like I don't even remember. I remember because I wrote it down. Right. But in terms of me like really remembering and the feelings of it all and stuff like that, like it happened. I know it happened. But I'm so not there anymore. I don't live into that, and I don't even see it as anything bad anymore. Like I see it as what helped me to be uniquely me. I see the world differently from anybody else in the whole wide world. So I feel like our stories help us to be who we are, and they're to be applauded, and not so much to be like, dang, that's terrible,
Yeah. I remember you told me that, and at the time, I was like, how she not remember.
Yeah,
But then as I started growing and moving forward, like, you know, people come to you talking about stuff, and I'll be like, oh, I don't remember. It was way in the back of my mind. Like, I don't even remember those issues or whatever the case may be, you know,
Right.
because I've grown so much since then. So it's like, yeah, I understand that now.
Yeah, I understand that myself. I know it's like with that, when you think like that, you thinking about the past, then you sort of conjure up those old emotions again. And so when you don't think about it, you see what I'm saying? When you vibrating high, like your struggles from back then and things that you went through, you haven't forgot about it. But if you was to go back and revisit it, it's like you opening up a can of worms again, and you catching those, you getting those feelings of what you don't want, you know, that you ain't got sort of not rid of, but you sort of just put it behind you in a sense.
It's kind of like, as you grow, it's not that you forgot the story, it takes on a different meaning.
Right.
And so the way it used to affect you, it doesn't affect you like that anymore. Like, cause you don't think about it like that anymore because you're a different person now.
Right.
So I don't think about, oh, this person was so cruel and hateful, because I realize that person is the light and that person served a purpose in my life. And that I wouldn't be me if that person wasn't them.
Very true.
So, and it goes back to the whole everything happens for you and not to you. So all those things that I was conceptualizing as this happened to me and this happened to me and they did this to me and this, you know, where now I'm like, that all happened for me.
Right.
And it's just showed me a totally different perspective of the world than, you know, anybody else.
Yeah.
So, I would say, I can't remember one of y'all just say, how do you start showing your light or whatever? And it's basically what we've been talking about this whole year. You know, and literally, I wish I had a list of the different podcasts that we've done. But if I kind of work backwards, I know we talked, well, do I want to work backwards? I know we talked about being still. Actually, let's start from the beginning. I remember us talking about answering the question, who am I?
Right.
So recognizing, just making that declaration that I am connected to the source of all that exists. I'm a part of everything. That's who I am. I identify from that space and not from the space of that sack of the past. So who am I? Recognizing that you are worthy. Recognizing that you are a person of increase. Recognizing that you can have a dream. Recognizing that, you know, that everything can be orchestrated to happen for you. Being still, taking the time to meditate, clear the chatter out of your mind. Y'all can jump in if y'all remember some of the topics that we talked about. But all of those things is what help you to start removing the veils.
I just say this before we go. Like, I would say, you know, again, just don't worry about trying to take the trash out and trying to figure things out. Just be what you want to be now. Start. You want to be a nice person. How does a nice person act? Start being nice. You know,
Just
you want
start
to be more responsible. Be more responsible. Just start doing what you want to be now.
Today, like whatever it is, you don't have to wait. You know, even if you, let's just say if you want to be an artist, you don't have to wait until you know how to do stuff. You can just start arting now. You can start drawing now. If you want to be a writer, you can start writing now. Whatever it is that you want, you can do it today. You don't have to wait. And again, the more you do it now, the more you become it. Whatever you are being in this moment, you're going to be more of it. So just keep expanding into whatever it is you would love.
That made me think of a quote from Lil Wayne. He said, you know, people they need a studio, they need a hook, who gonna sing on it, they need a beat. He like, just go in there and do music, just rap, just like, you know. So it's like basically that. Just do it.
I love it. We close on that. Thank you guys. We all are the light. You are the light. remember that. And it's almost like looking through the eyes of love, like Stevie was saying, looking at everything, yourself, everybody you see through the eyes of love, and then just shining, just keep shining as brightly as you can. Till next time, this is Arvette.
Just Steve.
It's Rodney.
Bye.